Hi, and welcome to the Really Telling It Like It Is broadcast. I'm Apostle Bacer J Baker, who is a doctor in psychology. And what I want you to do is I want you to let your YouTube, your Facebook, your Twitter, your whatever, all of your social media people know that we're on. And we're continuing on with an interview that I had with a new daughter of mine. Her name is Sokeap, and we're going to continue on with that today. But and you can bring her on. But I want to let you know something. You'll see my information at the bottom of the screen. She didn't know I was going to do this, but I was thinking, it just came into my heart. If you haven't seen last week's program, you need to go back and watch last week's program. And you have the information as to how to give into this ministry and to this work. And what I'd like to do is, she talked about some of her children, some of the kids in her class. They don't have proper clothing. They don't have proper things to be able to smell good. They don't have the proper things that they need. I want you to show the love of God by giving into some of this, and just put on the thing, when you give for that, just put Sokeap's Kids, Sokeap, Sokeap's Kids, and we will be able to go ahead and do some contributing to that, whether it's food, whether it's clothes, whatever it is. And we'll be able to get into the schools to be able to assist to do some of those things, and then to be able to assist the school in some of the things that it needs. You know, the Bible tells us that we're to go into all the world and release the goodness of the kingdom in there. That's what it means. It doesn't mean necessarily going and preaching stuff all the time. So what I want you to do is, I want you to dig into your heart, and then allow your heart to release your wallet and give into this. And remember, just put on there Sokeap's Kids, and it will be given into that. This is something that I just came up with, and we're going to do it. So thank you for that. Welcome, sweetheart.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Baker. And thank you, Kingdom First, for having me here as well.
Oh yeah, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. You are just so beautiful and just so sweet, and I'm just, I just love you. And so does Lanzine. She's so excited. She was so excited about you being here. Yeah. And so last week, on our last program, we were talking about you, and we touched some soft areas in your life, and some things that were, I could tell, was difficult for you and stuff. And I just want to let the audience know something. Many times what happens when things happen in your life, and you still have these things, you still have that feelings, and you can still have that memory and those shames and all of those different kinds of things still going on in you. It's healing that God wants to have happen. It's like this big pus ball that's on the inside of you, and now it's being lanced, and God never allows it to happen like that until he has sent someone that he is going to use in order to assist, in order for it to get better. And he sent us to, and we were coming back from the convergence, and we were coming back on the 1st of July. Didn't know why we had to catch that particular plane, but our plane was not delayed at all. And it was a setup for us to meet her. And, God had it so that, wow, here it was. I got, because of my smell, because of this, it's really interesting that you talked about one of your kids and how they didn't smell good. It was because I was smelling really good that I ended up getting the seat that I got, so that I could meet you. So with all of that said, I want you to I want you to continue to talk about your childhood a bit. And this now, the refugee camp, it was in Cambodia, or it was here. Anyway, talk about that. Go ahead.
So the first refugee camp that we were sent to was in Thailand. I was really, really young. I was born in the forest, and boom, there you go, refugee camp and all the good stuff. So I was very, very young to even try to remember anything from the first refugee camp. And then my family and I got sent to the second refugee camp in the Philippines. So half of our family members got sent to another country, and just my mom, my sister, my father, and I were sent to the Philippines. and so we were on our own. That's when I was old enough to remember how I survived the refugee camp. So during that times of survival, I basically learned to hunt for myself, for our survival. We survived on frogs, reptiles, plants, insects. I remember one time I went to the landfill, try to find something, a container, a can, just to cook the frogs that I caught in the swamp nearby. And a group of boys basically came over and grabbed the frogs from the little area that I try to clean and let it drain. I don't know, the liquid whatever was in there. I basically put out there after clean it, and I turn around. I saw a group of boys came. They ran toward the frogs, and they took off with the frogs. I went after them. Give them back my frogs! Give them back my frogs! I start, getting things from them, and of course there were more of them. So I ended up being beat to the ground, and my frogs were gone. I was bruised up. I didn't care. I got up, looked for some more. Saw the lizard. Went hunting for the lizard. You know, and of course I didn't get it. So I'm like, nope. I'm bringing home some food, whether I, bleed to death or not. I'm bringing home some food for my family, for my sister, my young sister. So I got some herbs. I don't know what it's called at the time, but it was just something where I smashed again. Thanks to him, I don't know where I get this knowledge from, but he was there for me all the time. Came back home, smashed the plant. I squeezed the juice and I let it dry. And hours later, it's hardened like Jello. So we survived off that night. So that's just how we survive. How I survive as well, just eating reptiles, insects, plants, just to stay alive. And what else? And then the tsunami hit in the refugee camp. So that's another story too. We were so scared. I didn't know what was going on. All I remember was just the camp was just swaying back and forth, back and forth. I thought the camp was gonna be blown away. We were in the camp just praying really hard. I didn't understand. I just saw my family prayed, and somebody else next door came and prayed and cried at the same time. I was like, oh my goodness, what's going on? What's now? But to me, it wasn't anything to be scared of, because I saw people got bombed right in front of my face. I have my first childhood memory. So this is just whatever. It's just another thing. Who knows? I wasn't worried. I was just like, okay, what now? What can I do? That was it. So I was basically trying to remain calm and be the strong and the powerful little girl, but for everyone. Um, my sister was very young. She didn't know what was going on. She was just I was just carrying her on the side of my waist, and on my head I carried a basket, just reptiles, whatever I caught, or plant that I grew in my garden, just walking around from camp to camp, not camp to camp, but from tent or shelter from shelter, and begging people to buy or go to the market with my sister in my arms. I mean, my side, my waist, and the basket holding like this. So yeah, I did a lot of that for until I was 9 years old. So about two years. Yeah, we stayed in the Philippines for 2 years. So I did all that for 2 years. Came to America. I saw a tree, a
Well,
fruit.
let me ask you a question. What was the language? Was there was a language difference in Cambodian and Philippines, or did you understand the language or talk to?
So, great question. So basically, I remember we were put in a specific area where everyone from different ethnicity, different who spoke different languages, all in one place. So there was a whole bunch of different languages. I had no idea. All I know was just like, hey, we're all gonna survive together. So in the Philippines, they speak Tagalog. I'm Cambodian, so we speak Cambodian. So it was a language barrier, but we didn't really let that be the barrier. We still survived together. So I carried that survival mode with me when we got migrated to America. I was 9 years old, and I saw a fruit tree. I remember the very first time a fruit tree at the school. And I immediately, my first instinct was, okay, I drop everything and start climbing it and start picking the fruits, put in my pocket. And this one boy, I didn't know what he was talking about. He went somewhere. He came back with a teacher, and I just say this. I didn't know English. I was like, I didn't know what was going on. So, but later on, I found out, oh yeah, you're not supposed to pick fruits off a tree. And I was like, but anyways, so I didn't know what's going on. The teacher didn't know what's going on, and so I remember that boy. He reached into my pocket and tried to grab the fruits. Again, survival mode. I grabbed his hand. I bit his hands. So that was just survival mode, and he got hurt. He dropped it, and that was it. I don't remember anything else, but that's just something that I carried from the refugee camp to America, and that's another reason why people thought I was weird. Because my survival mode was just like very, I don't know, it was so different, but it was really funny. And then another thing is when I remember eating hot dog for the very first time, non-Asian food, and I was so embarrassed. I didn't want to eat it. I was forced to eat it finally. So finally, I ate it a little bit. I just pick it, just the tip of my fingers, and I start saying something in Cambodian, like "America is nasty."
You know what's really interesting? Here it was. You had survived on frogs, on
Reptiles, lizards.
reptiles, and all of those different things. And then you come here and you see, but the experience that you had was
Yeah.
something that was there that I really don't believe that you would have had that kind of experience towards the hot dog if that man had not have abused you. You see, one of the things of it was is this that brought that shame thing back, and this is what happens because even the form of how it's made. I mean, how it is, right? And uh, it's actually a German thing, you know, and it was I don't even know why they call it a hot dog. It's more of a wiener dog or whatever it is, like those little dog, like those animals type thing, that little dog. But at any rate, so psychologically, what happened is you were equating that with something that was filthy, and that's the reason that you thought it was nasty. And
Yeah.
this is a self-protection mode. And so it was not it wasn't uh they had no understanding of, and didn't try to understand, what it was that you were going through. It's really interesting that you came from a refugee camp, and they knew that you were coming into a place that they didn't have a place to transition, a transitional place where you could have learned some that. But I mean, things have grown now, and there's a whole lot we didn't know, and a whole lot didn't know. So anyway, keep going.
I didn't even know that till now. Sometimes I feel like, okay, well, what happened at camp? I mean, was I wrong to do that? Or was I stupid enough to believe that man, or to trust him that he would protect me?
No, you have that childlike thing. We're born with that. Okay. It's that childlike thing. It had nothing to do with you. It had all to do with him. Okay. This is the thing that happens when people are abused in any kind of a manner. What happens is they try to make you feel like you did something wrong. Never, ever, 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 ever is it the child. God has us, it's really interesting that he says this, that we cannot even enter the kingdom of God without childlike faith. One of the things that you said was so powerful, that when you were going through the tsunami, when the tsunami was happening, you had no worries. Okay, that's the way that God wants us to be. That's what he talks about in his book. And he talks about in Matthew 6 and 33, he says, don't worry about these things. Don't worry about these things. Don't worry about these things. I have you taken care of. And even in that, even in what it is that you went through, and I know that you've gone through a whole lot more than that, but even what it is that you've gone through, he still had a safe place for you. He still allowed it to be. You see, he still allowed it to be that there were other kids around, and they started screaming and hollering for you and found you and took you out of that. See, and it was a warning. It was a warning because cultural things You know, my culture, all of these different cultures, they have it so that you trust your elders, which is something that we're supposed to be able to do. But many times they are perverted. They're self-centered. They're all of these things. And they, whether it's because they've been misused, abused, or whatever themselves, or just because they're just dirty and evil. It's not, it's not to try and necessarily figure it out. It's just something that should not have happened. But the thing of it is that is so great is this: God placed something on the inside of you to let you know that He was greater than the situation. And that not only were you going to be used to heal others, but that God was going to send somebody to help heal you. So this is just an ideal time in your life. 2023 is going to be the best year that you've ever had. And it's
Yay.
going to be a great time for your children, because people, I'm reminding you that I want you to share your good stuff. I want you to share the things that you have, and I want you to be able to help her to do what it is that she's doing, to help us in more than enough ministries to be able to help them, to help these children that are less fortunate. There's a movie that's out right now with Jim Caviezel, whatever his name is, and it's a true story about this young man that was out there and helping to find these children that are being abused, that are being trafficked, and all of that. And see, God kept you from that. He kept you from that. And you're keeping some of your kids from that. So remember, here's our thing, and remember to put on there "So Keeps Kids," and we will make sure that these kids get what it is that they need. And so, any rate, keep going. I'm loving this. We got about 10 more minutes, so come on.
So came to America. I was the weird one, but I always knew that for some reason I always knew that I'm here. I'm the chosen one to take care of the students. So I've been teaching for 21 years now, and I remember a few of my students, they've been through child molestation situation as well, and it really hit me hard. I, of course, very good. I put on a nice smile and a nice face, but deep down inside I was just so broken. I was like, why is this keep on happening? First the refugee camp, I'm here in America, why am I still seeing it? And it's more and more now with the students. And I was frustrated at the fact that, hey, what is going on here? Why are all these people doing this to the children who's so innocent? So the kids didn't have any voice. I had to speak up to them. So specifically, last year, one of my male students was molested by his uncle. It was very, very, very sad just hearing him explain the situation. It was so graphic, and I was very strong for him, because I had to tell him, I had to tell myself to be strong for him, because I've been through it, but I didn't have anyone to talk to. So at the same time, even though I was broken, my heart was just crying so hard to hear this young boy, 12 years old, explaining his situation so vividly. But also at the same time, I was very happy that I was there, that he trusted me enough. He didn't want to talk to anybody but me, and I had asked for his permission if I could speak to, at least, if you didn't want me to speak to the school principal, or let me talk to the counselor, get him some help. And luckily I called his mom as well too. I spoke with mom. We're all on the same page, and I was so, so, so happy, and I felt like my purpose have been met for this, at least for this particular child. We got a group of people supporting him, a group of people even supporting mom as well too. So I was like, I know I'm the chosen one, God. I know that. Thank you. Just give me the strength to continue to do it. Just give me the strength to continue to walk when the world seems so dark, or continue to give me the eyesight when I'm just so blind to the truth. And so I'm here. That's why I'm loving being a teacher, because our kids go through a lot, and sometimes they don't, like myself, I had to be strong for my family. So I didn't tell them until I was 31 and a half years old about my child molestation. But just me have gone through all of that. And now I'm here hearing all this stuff, it's like he's giving the opportunity to heal the kids, to protect the kids, as if I'm giving a second chance to heal and protect myself as well. So, like what you were saying, Dr. Baker, you are absolutely right, and I feel like I'm giving a second chance, even though what's done is done. But still, it's another chance for me to heal another child. So when I heal or help heal another child, I feel healed. Okay. So, anywho, back let's not fast forward, but back a little bit, rewind a little bit. When I was in second grade, I was the oldest because, of course, language barrier. So they put me in first grade when I was 9 years old. But I remember in second grade, I drew something and I wrote something. I don't know what I was writing, but maybe I copied something. I don't know what I was copying from or where I was copying from, but I wanted to be an author. Yeah, somebody didn't believe in me. They laugh at me. They go, "You cannot speak English, read or write English. How are you going to be an author?" So I'm like, I still remember that. And I published two children books. And I basically felt very proud of myself, even though it's not anything professional, anything at all. It was just basically straight from my heart, self fulfillment. So
What were the names of those books?
I, it's nothing. It's just.
Ah, 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 Are they on Amazon or
They are. They
what
are.
names of the books?
The very first one, it's called Hippity Hop and the Missing Tutu. This So that's basically it's a little children book for somebody who's 4 years old and under, just to stay calm and problem solve when you face situations. The second one is called Where I Belong, and that one is about parental love. And family don't have to be blood. We can still, have that family love type of thing. So that's my second one, and
Right.
that was it. So
No,
I share.
never, ever, ever let me hear you say again that it's nothing. Okay?
Thank you, Dr.
Don't
Baker.
you
I
say it,
appreciate
but
that.
let me hear you say that. Now go ahead.
So I shared that story, that books. I bought the book and I bring it with me all the time. And I share with the students. I say, look, back in the days, I wanted to be an author. No one believed in me, but look at these two books. I published this. Okay. And I told the students too, I'm like, I don't care what people say to you. I don't care what people say about you. And you shouldn't care at all. All you got to do is believe in yourself, even when no one, especially when no one's believing in yourself. You got to do it because I got it. And look at my regalia. I'm a doctor of education. Nobody knows. Nobody expected that from me, from an English illiterate refugee. And now look at where I'm at. So I shared that with the student. I told him, this is evidence right here. This is a walking evidence for you to believe in yourself, because no one believed in me. I worked hard. And I told the students too, I said, hey, you know what? It doesn't matter where you came from. What matters most is where are you going from now? And that's why they believe in themselves. I have a lot of students who even didn't believe in themselves or had very negative outlook of life or education, but they never want to leave me for reasons, or never want to leave my classroom to go home. They always want to stay and fight to be in my classroom. Every day I have to fight with them. But that's just basically, it's a success story that I share with the students all the time, to always believe in themselves. And sometimes I have to remind myself too, I'm like, hey, I've come a long way. And I know I feel very down right now, but look what I have become, and look where I came from, you know? So,
You also say you're a real estate broker, right?
correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so am I. So we have that in common. So what are some of the things that you do? You help do you what part do you do? You say you help the students and things or whatever. What do you do there in that?
So I told a student, I said that I didn't think I would have the power to help anybody at all. But look, I'm a teacher, I'm helping students. But now knowing that students have a hard time, it's not their choice. It's sometimes because they're struggling outside of school. They're struggling to fight for a place to stay. They're struggling to find someone to stay with. And that hurts my heart too, because here in America, you shouldn't have to go through all that struggle. But believe it or not, our kids go through all that. So I asked myself, I'm like, okay, what can I do to help support our family so that they can bring the students to the classroom and get educated? And my family, my sister, she's a loan officer for over 20 years. Her husband, over 15 years, he's a broker. And I was like, I've been helping them all this time already. I just never really thought about becoming a real estate agent because I love being an educator. But, seeing my student situation and the family situation, I'm like, what? I need to help at a deeper level. So I became a realtor. I educated our parents. I told them, never, ever, ever underestimate anything at all until you talk to somebody and get the help. Because sometimes there's programs out there for them that they don't even know. So I just closed two more within this whole month. So I was like, okay, this is beautiful. Just seeing and being able to help families find a home is very fulfilling because personally, I didn't have a home for 9 years. I was homeless. I was a refugee living in a refugee camp. So having the opportunity again, having this opportunity to just to help people find homes, a place that they can call home sweet home, is so fulfilling because I felt like I was given the opportunity because I didn't find a home. I didn't have a home. I had no choice but to survive. So for him, God to give me the opportunity again, I'm just so thankful. I know He's watching me all the time. He's taking care of me, and just me praying and wanting from my heart to help people. He saw that, and He's giving me that opportunity.
Well, we may be able to do something together because I've been a real estate broker for a long time, even though I'm a doctor in psychology and I'm a chef and I'm a whole lot of different things.
Love it.
What happens is this, is that I see the opportunity for us to be able to have houses of refuge, and where we can possibly even look at buying hotels or something larger and doing something so to be able to help a number of different people. So I see that God is bringing a number of things together. And you mentioned that you have your sister's a loan officer, or I mean, whatever. Any rate, all of these different things. So all of these things are coming together in this time. I really believe that what God is doing, what God has done, is allowing for these different streams, these different things of His children, His kingdom children, to come together so that we can do something together, because doing it together is greater than trying to do it alone.
Yes. Oh my God.
Just, I know that we're going to have a lot more interaction. And I want you guys to know that I will have her back at another time. And you're going to see the difference in who it is that she is today and who it is that you'll see when she comes back. So, this is Dr. Bacer J Baker, who is a doctor in psychology with the Really Telling It Like It Is program, and my very special guest, Sokeap. And we thank you for watching. Remember, share this with your friends. And remember, Sokeap's kids, we're going to help them. So bye-bye, everybody. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Them first. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you for watching Kingdom First TV, your station for Kingdom.